Well, welcome to the Perfect Business by the Automated Method. I'm Jason Grant, and this is still the 30 days of building the perfect business. In brief, I'll be honest with you. You know, it's also helping this traction momentum thing that I keep attempting to do with, the Automated Method so many times, because the only marketing I think is important is this type of marketing. Really talking about all of the stuff that, in a practical way. I think I started this whole journey the way that I have been over the past few years because, there's so much shit on the internet that doesn't do anything for you as a business owner. Everybody has all this lip service, I always say. And it's like, if I hear someone say, oh, I want to work on the business, not in the business, I'm like, okay, well, do you have every single automatic technology turned on in a perfect app stack? And if they say no, well, there you go. Let's talk about it, right? That's what this is for. Let's talk about it. And it's not just throwing technology at problems. It's understanding what they're for and where they're going, right? And you need to move away from this idea of whatever you have that works. That's the whole problem I have with Windows and Microsoft Office, etc., right? Because you buy any computer, you've set up a domain any way you can. It doesn't have to be in terms of being set up properly or being in the core tenancy like we discussed. Who cares, right? This is like a summary for you. It'll work. You can go buy a computer, any computer, Windows, Chromebook, Apple, sign into whatever. You got your domain you bought, set up your email. Maybe you're going to use some sort of cloud shared storage for files because, you fucking love them. Whatever, and it'll work. Your business will function. It will work. Now, has it changed from that to something else, what I just said? Yes, 100%. But it doesn't matter to a lot of you out there because it works, right? So you're like, why would I do anything? And I'm like, well, because it's not efficient. Here's where I'm going to drop all the words. It's not efficient. It's not automated. It requires way more people than you think. You probably look like an asshole using your business to interact with other businesses. And you for sure are an asshole leader because you have no digital leadership. Because if you think that that's how everybody works now, like you, because you're an old dog and you haven't learned any new tricks, you're wrong, right? Advertising operational efficiencies in your business through modern technology decisions is digital leadership, and that's why people want to work for in your institution these days, okay? Not because you're like, well, it works for me. Why would I do anything different? It works for me. I'm like, yeah, it works for you because you're used to just throwing money and time or other people's money and time at the problem to make money. That's what it is, right? You don't care that you're a bandwidth vampire. You don't care. What does it matter? You're the business owner. Right? Like I said, that's why I like throwing things in there like digital leadership, because that scares the shit out of some people. They're like, oh, no, I'm a digital leader. And I'm like, prove it. You get into a conversation? No way. They're the Microsoft Windows, Microsoft Office in the trap, the file trap, the Excel trap, the report generation trap. And that's the conversation I have quite frequently. But what we're doing here is we're just opening it all up, okay? We're just opening everything up, and we're trying to get the perfect business built for you. And it'll probably be a way for you to become an owner, not an owner. An owner-operator, all right? And also, I'm extreme in the way that I communicate, #no filter, because I just think my bullshit detector is on full blast all day, every day. And the excuse detector is on full blast all day, every day. And that's where we are now. There's a high percentage of businesses out there where it's all just smoke, mirrors, snake oil, bullshit, excuses, lies, cowardly leadership, whatever you want to call it, that's what it is. And it's because, like I said, you can get a business operating up to any extent now with standard pop, applications that are maybe not the right ones, but it's all there and you will get by. Like I'm just going in a circle, but you will get by. You will. I'm trying to get by with trying to cut out as much unnecessary labor as possible with automatic technologies because it is possible. That's my MO. That's my MO. That's the automated methods method. See, such a good name, right? Even it spins in my head too. All right. So this is what I wanted to do today. So what day is it today? Today's day 26. All right. Oh man, where did I put it? It's been a long day. Day 26 of 30. This is my automated method, all right? Our automated method. I'm going to go through all of what I've discussed in summary in the next 10 minutes so that you can kind of see how a service business utilizes an app stack to optimize but I'm going to separate the marketing for a second, okay? I'm going to separate the marketing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do an automated workflow between applications that I would say is probably generic, because what I love about the automated method was how generic a lot of this could be, but also enhanced by as much automated technologies as possible because of the simplicity of the workflow. It's easy to advertise to someone what's under the hood, right? So let's call this the automated methods. Automated method, okay? The automated methods. Automated method. God, that's so stupid. Yeah, that's what we're talking about today. I'm going to need the whole board, okay? So if you're listening in, there is a video here. This is I use Anchor. Anchor goes to Spotify and the iTunes podcasting, a whole bunch of different feeds, etc. I also put this on YouTube. It's just it's so much easier, but I'm also like a dinosaur in a lot of ways for a lot of this marketing, because I'm not using TikTok as much as some people are, but I'm comfortable here. What else can I say, man? I'm comfortable here. It seems like a lot of setup and tear down, and I will talk about that more, but you have to be comfortable, right? Or it doesn't, I won't do it. I won't do it. If I'm not comfortable, I won't do it. I'm just like a lot of you out there as a process defender, but my process defense is because my OCD, or whatever you want to call it, it's not really OCD, but it's organizational OCD. It's a little bit of a disease. I call it the sickness. So does my dad. Yeah, the sickness. So what the sickness does is it makes it hard for me to, not to change, but once I'm in a routine, I like that routine because I can apply freedom of time to it, right? I can get into a deep work state, right? So that's why I don't like these little things changing, because I like to get into that deep work bubble, and I'm comfortable here, right? I'm comfortable with this mic and this camera, etc., and this phone. Okay. So this is how I look at things. Inside, outside. Right? So you got your outside, and then you got your inside. And the inside would be your business, and the outside would be all of the everything else. Your inside is your ecosystem, your app stack, your model. The outside are potential customers, clients, leads, whatever, sales, collecting information from the outside world because you're a business, right? So that's outside, inside, right? Without marketing and advertising, because we'll talk about that in another video again, because I'm going to summarize what we do over here. So if we're a service business, right, and we're recommending software as a service for, everything, we're going to apply all the software as a service, all the SaaS stuff that we can, because we're going to, it's like we are what we eat. Okay, the automated method it's easy because I can talk about it because it is being used. The technologies are being used, which I feel like that's the secret sauce. The secret sauce is, this video is going to go over, but it's a good one. The secret sauce is using the technologies so that you can talk about the technologies. You get me? So I'm like I said, I'm dated, and I like thinking of email as a function. So I've spoken about start@theautomatedmethod.com before. So let's go as fast and slow as I can. So let's say start at, that email function. What I did was I created a Gmail workspace account because and you pay for it. I think it's just like an extra $10 or whatever it is per month on your credit card. So Jason at would be a full email function or account. So it would be like AI at, which is our bot account controlled by email. There's another thing we can talk about. And then start at is the call to action trigger email function address. Okay. Why? Because I kind of like that sentence construction. I always I've recorded this video in different forms, so many different ways. So start@theautomatedmethod.com is a sentence. It's easy to say, and I like it because it's kind of like it's a call sign in a way. It's like a gang tag using an email address. And it's funny because I hate email, but I can brag about how this works as a function. So Zapier is running that email account. Okay? What happens is Zapier, okay, so we got Zapier over here. So that account, what it's doing is it checks anybody that emails that email account. It checks the display name, it checks the email address, obviously, because it knows who we sent to it, the first and last, that kind of thing. So what I'm doing, and this kind of, it may be new to you, but it could be, you could have a web form do the same thing. I just like the idea that anybody can email from any client, from anything, and it gets to the email address. It's not like they have to go to the URL first. I kind of like keeping it agnostic, like platform agnostic. So you could just do it on your Android, your iPhone. I don't care. You just have to get an email to that email. And it does an auto reply. So it grabs information already that it knows because that stuff is public when you send it to an email address, right? So that's the inside-outside start entry point trigger. I can tell you that it's tapped into other things too, on and off. Sometimes we're using front for it. Sometimes we're not because I'm experimenting with some of this channel-based workflow, right? It depends on because there's so many tricks we have that I don't have to have them all turned on. Sometimes it's inefficient to have them all turned on, but they're there. I can also show them to anybody that asks. That's why I keep paying for these goddamn SaaS products. Because they're all set up and it's like so I can use them for tutorial, and I also can turn them on and off depending on how we run a campaign over here, okay? In the marketing side of things, the modern marketing. So that is how that starts. Remember this double entry stuff, done. Everything is connected. So when that starts, what's going to happen for you is you're going to receive a nice body, a reply, an auto reply, an infographic. There's some things. It's like a package, and it sends it back to you as it was a no reply, auto reply address. Okay, we now have that information from you automatically over here. Okay, so the outside has now communicated to the inside. So if we're using HubSpot as our CRM, HubSpot gets that information that Start At did as well. Your display name, your first, last, etc. So does MailChimp, right? So does Quotient, so does Xero. Okay, everything that's connected gets that information immediately because you emailed that address. Okay, there's a lot of people that would be like, whoa, that's wrong or crazy or whatever. I'm like, so what? We're taking advantage of these technologies to show you, to explain to you how it can work for you. You don't have to set it up the same way. It's a great learning, it's practical. You could see why you would want to do it that way. So if now you've automatically got it into HubSpot because of the connections, the native integrations, or Zapier. That's a lead, right? And then if you have a lead, well, you got it in a pipeline. So if you got the lead in the pipeline already, right? Because that's how it works. It's all automated over here, right? What are you selling them, right? Maybe you're using Calendly like I am, and you get inside the autoresponder, you get a link to go into the Calendly for like a 20-minute, virtual coffee, as they say. And that virtual coffee maybe is Zoom with me or a member of the team. That's how great these things are. So now you could even have Calendly in here, right? So there's Calendly, right? Now you also can have Slack because there's notifications and the team knows what's going on. And remember I mentioned front. There could be even front in here for your channel-based communication as well. Now HubSpot has all that stuff. It's in a pipeline. One of the products that I like that I've been using for a very long time is Quotient. All right? Like I'm going slow. I hope this is going to be a longer video, and I apologize, but it's necessary because I like how this works. So these leads are here. Inside Quotient, it's a shout out to Quotient. I've used it for a very long time, and they've never let me down. I've already menued out all of the line items inside Quotient. All of the proposals, all of the stuff is already automated in general based on things that we do over here. So we can attach easily, with a lot of automation, the lead to whatever the proposal could be that we're going to sell, what we're going to implement, our service offering, right? But they're already all data-based. All the proposals and line items and the text and the descriptions and the values are inside Quotient already because that's the menu that's already been built. So you're moving from the pipeline to the proposal, all unconnected, and it's all path of least resistance. Now remember, disclaimer, you might not have to do it this way, but this is showing you how it can be done. I'm lifting the hood, man, of the sleeper. I'm at a red light, and I'm just like, oh yeah, you want to see what's under the hood? Okay. Open the hood. That's what we're doing right now. Because it only gets better. The world only gets better the more I expose this stuff. And it's not, some people will be like, yeah, this is old news. Good, maybe it is, okay? But a lot of people out there, it isn't old news. It's new. So now that you have a quote that gets sent to them, right? Then the convenience of that is that quote, I'm going to run out of room here, right? Say it gets accepted. So the proposal, whatever it is, the service offering, it's another domino. It gets accepted. And then you're like, okay. So now the project can start. So maybe we're using Monday.com. Maybe Monday.com is automatically generating a new Slack channel for the new conversation, which can easily be have all the members in it replicated. What is that board in Monday.com? Well, maybe it's parallel to the proposal, so the service offering is just duplicated as a duplicate board in Monday.com. So now you have a template board for tasks and project management for that service offering, and then you start a Slack channel. So now it's like you could see the parallels here. This is the automated method. And that all this duplication is just right, in your world, it would be right-click duplicate. And it's so simple because we're selling the same things over and over and over again. We're not as easy as retail, but in a lot of ways it is, right? I'm looking at it in terms of the service offerings as scalable and volumetric with automated technologies. That's why I love Quotient, because it's simple. Because a lot of these service offerings are basically just engagement, contracts for consulting. And that's what the startup method is. That's what the scope is. That's what the formula is. Whether it's annual, monthly, whatever. It's got options to change inside it, but you've already got the menu. You put it in already. All the copy's there. You can have fun with it because you have a copywriter, the story. You see? So then when they accept it, right, that's when you can have it generate a draft invoice in Xero, your accounting platform, automatically. Right? And then you can have it send out in 30 days or you can have it approved immediately, and then it goes to their email right away after they accepted it. Maybe a deposit, maybe the whole invoice, depending on how the contract works. And then that invoice inside Xero, we use Stripe over here. Stripe is a payment gateway. So see how fast that is? Bing, bang, boom, credit card payment. And then Stripe, okay, goes to the bank. Get it? This is why you want all of why you want a perfect business, why you want to model your business properly, why you want to have the correct SaaS platforms, why you want all the native integration, why you want to hire the automated method to potentially turn on crazy stuff like Zapier, like to turn on Postman if you want some custom API stuff, all of that amazing stuff. And this is just a simple operations map. It looks like a madman did this, but you know what? It should make sense. This is what it is. Triggers. Entry point triggers, right? Look at how that looks like now. You can have start at theautomatedmethod.com equals some sort of revenue, because it just goes through the machine and it's something. Yeah, there's things that have to be done, but like all of that planning and that working out, the symphony is all ready, fired up, right? And if you have like Slackbot in there and you're using Slack Connect, if you're doing business to business stuff like we do here, we just teach any of the partners the automated method, and they tap in too, because most of the people that we work with over here are parallel platform users, meaning they use Slack too, meaning they use Monday.com too. Maybe they don't use Xero, but we influence it for sure. But Calendly for Teams, of course, right? That like ecosystem of most of the people that we work with are Google Workspace, but I think that's because they're like that, what I will call startup world. And a lot of startup world, for digital stuff is Google, not Microsoft. Don't quote me. It is, there's a lot of Microsoft out there, but I'm just saying, okay? And then of course maybe Zoom in there somewhere, depending on what it is you sell. And like I said, you could have Shopify in there if it's retail, connected to like an Instagram account for like buy now, whatever. But this is like, it's under the hood. Okay? That's what I wanted to get at today. And I've done it before, but I think I've done it so many times that now it like makes more sense. Repetition, right? Practice makes perfect. All right, practical makes perfect. The perfect business.